Okay, so the irony is not lost on me that I'm wearing an Autobot shirt while looking at Decepticons. Or rather, knockoffs of third-party versions of Decepticons. Case in point, this is the NBK version of the Generation Toy Dump Truck. Based, of course, on the Transformers character of Long Haul. And he's going to be our focus in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. I appreciate you dropping by, giving me some of your time. As always, I'm going to say please like, comment, share, and subscribe as it helps me out so very much. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, and Transformers Collectors, and L and me everywhere. And this is the NBK knockoff of, well, Long Haul. And so far we've been kind of having a race comparing the NBK-KOs to the actual Titan class Combiner Wars Devastator figures. And the first couple, the Combiner Wars just eked out a win, but everything really started to change when we got to the legs. Because the NBK-KOs are really better representations of Scrapper and of Mixmaster. And then we get to this guy, and this is when the NBK version of Devastator is really going to pull out into the lead, because this is a significantly better Long Haul than the actual Long Haul is, for so many reasons. Although there is one area where I think this guy might just be a little bit weaker. Anyway, let's head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And of course, here we are for part 5, and we're going to look at NBK-05, their knockoff take on the Generation Toy Gravity Builder member, Dump Truck. Yeah, Dump Truck. Who, of course, is a third-party representation, as we all know by now, of the Transformers Decepticon Constructicon member of Devastator. In fact, he's one of the real kind of core components, if you will. We're talking about Long Haul, and I'm going to call this guy Long Haul because I don't know if I can remember a complicated name like Dump Truck. At this point, we've been doing these comparisons, and in part 1 and 2, we looked at the two arms, Bone Crusher and Scavenger. And I think that the Combiner Wars won when it came to the two arms. Then we looked at the two legs in parts 3 and 4. That, of course, being Mixmaster and the leader of the Constructicons, Scrapper. And to be perfectly honest with you, the legs of the NBK-KO won there. So we're kind of tied 2 for 2, but this, I honestly believe, is when the NBK version is going to pull forward. This is a fantastic rendition of Long Haul. It is a great looking dump truck. Even if the back is kind of filled up from the side, it's great. Yes, you do have something back here, but like there's no doubt that that's Long Haul. Yes, we have this up here, but of course it can come off. It is just the chest piece of Devastator, really. You know, it comes off, and we have a fine dump truck here. Actually, I should have those folded in. Like, I think that this looks really, really cool. Now, all of that being said, of course, there is one drawback to this version of Long Haul compared to the Combiner Wars one. And that, of course, would be this. The Combiner Wars one is significantly larger. Significantly. Now, I have the hand pieces for an add-on kit for this guy, but while that certainly improves Long Haul's articulation, the Combiner Wars Long Haul that is, again, just like I did with Scrapper, I'm going to use the kind of marks that this guy got without the add-on kit to help him. I looked at the Combiner Wars Long Haul a long time ago, back in episode 19. when I did the whole Combiner Wars Devastator series, and yeah, like, I mean, 19, man. You know, I was young, you know, at 19, and here we are at, you know, as of this recording, I'm not even sure what number this is, 400 and some odd. But like, I didn't know what I was doing. But still, everything I kind of said there is going to sort of come back here. Anyway, that's them in vehicle mode. As always, we're going to see this guy get in robot mode and in, I guess, torso mode. And of course, I'm going to give the marks for the NBK version when we get him in robot mode. So we're going to take this guy out of it for now and see him again just a little bit later. So here we have NBK's take on Long Haul again. A couple of things to note in this mode before we jump into the transformation. First, his blaster stores back here between the legs. It stores pretty well. Of course, right now I'm going to take it out of there because it needs to come out for transformation. We'll look at that a little bit later. I'm not a huge fan particularly of that blaster, and you'll see why later on. The other thing I want to note is right here, this little tiny piece, and it's the same on the other side. It is supposed to just bend up, and there's a little tiny teeny tab and slot down here. They're supposed to lock in to hold this in place. I don't really find that it works to hold it in place, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know if it does work or if it's even exactly like that on the actual generation toy, but on the KO, that's just one little part of the transformation that I'm not a fan of. I don't think it quite works, or at least I can't get it to. Alright, something, like I said, something there worth noting. Let's put this guy into his robot mode first, and of course then we will go back to his torso mode. I was going to say limb mode. So how do we put this guy into his robot mode? Well, honestly, I find using kind of these panels along the side is a really nice guide for how to transform this guy. So we begin by splitting that and by splitting that, and we can fold these all the way down. That's going to be his legs. And under here you want to push the combiner ports down sort of behind his knees. You're going to fold that in and fold that in. The tires go in there, and then these panels rotate around, and on the other side, of course, rotate around. Bend up the foot, and you should be able to. There we go. Bend up the foot and open up the heel. Bend up the foot and open out the heel. And we can stand him up. And at this point, we're going to take this piece here and angle it in over, and this piece here and angle it in over. Now you see one of the minor issues. This flap does like to pop off. And they tab together in right there. And we have the feet. Actually, I need to kind of position these back a little bit. You get them down, you want to position them back just a little bit. But we have the legs, we have the feet, and we have the waist of our KO Long Haul done. It's kind of off to the side here. I'm going to center things up a little bit, and then we'll continue on. Now, I knew the guy's toes looked big, and indeed they were. I opened up the feet like you were supposed to, but I neglected, when I opened them out, I left them this way, and he had huge toes. I neglected to turn them around the right way. You do need to rotate them, but he stands really well. So, there you go. By the way, this is the waist really of Devastator. It's just we compress it to be the waist of Long Haul. I'm cool with that. Like, I don't have a problem with that. Then this whole section here is eventually going to kind of bend down. There. Like that. And we can rotate this piece up. And we can, if I can do it, open up the chest, bring up Long Haul's head, close the chest back up. And really all we have to deal with now are the arms. And for the arms, we pull out and we pull out. From the side, we just rotate down and rotate down. Straighten the arm out. Turn it around. Fold this piece up on it and then fold it in behind. Open the outside of the arm. And if I can reach in and get it, flip the hand out. Kind of wants to fall around on me a little bit there. So we'll show it again over on this side. We have all of this down. We rotate the arm around. We position what's really the side of the dump truck. We fold it behind the arm. We open the outer edge of the arm. And we rotate the hand out, close it up. This piece here goes back about that far. By rights, according to the instructions, you should have Devastator's chest left on here. What we have are 2 pegs and there are 2 slots. So I will put this back on here now since it's supposed to be left on here. And that stays on like that. And you should angle it apparently a little bit over his head. But in the end, here is our NBK-05 dump truck, aka long haul. And here are our 2 versions of long haul. Do I even really need to say anything? Even if we take the add-on kit that can go on this guy and like put this on and put the other one on. I don't know if it saves the actual Combiner Wars long haul enough. Now, without the add-on kit, I said that the paint apps on long haul were a 10, and with the add-on kit, it's still a 10. Now, if anything, it's probably a 10 plus. Like it's no doubt that in terms of his paint apps, the Combiner Wars long haul is long haul. There's no doubt in my mind about that. The paint apps for the NBK version. Again, the head is largely accurate. The green and whatnot is where it should be. The legs are like a gray. I mean, they should be a gray or a silver. The purple and the black on the arms, the purple and the black on the arms, it makes sense. I'm going to say, honestly, that the paint apps on the NBK knockoff are still a 10. Like, it's a bit more stylized, but again, if you know the character of long haul, I don't think that you're going to mistake that it's long haul. It's a little bit of a different take. It's not exactly G1, but it's pretty close to it, and you're not mistaking who it is. So I'm giving both of them a 10 for different reasons. What about the articulation? Well, the articulation of the Combiner Wars one only clocked in at a 7. Even with the add-on kit, it was a 9. But we're going to go with a 7. And that's where the NBK knockoff really outshines this guy. Now, before we get into the articulation, I figured it would make sense to kind of show this now since we're going to use it and put it in his hand. It can fold. It's all right, I guess. This piece can come out, and you'll notice that we have 2 notches here, and we have another one here, and now we have a 4th one. This is very important, crucial to solidifying the combined form, but I don't like how it works. It's a fine blaster. I don't think it's fantastic for solidification of the huge gestalt, or gestalt. I'm never sure how to pronounce that. He also, however, comes with, again, pretty excellent instructions with a beginning mode and end mode, and you can see everything rather clearly. I think the instructions are good for this whole set so far. Okay, so now we're going to get into that articulation. Remember, in terms of paint apps, they're tied. Him and the Combiner Wars version are tied. They both got a 10. The Combiner Wars version got about a 7 for his articulation without the upgrade kit, and that's what we're going with, just standard stock. You can see the blaster in his hand over here. It fits fine. It's a blaster, you know. It's fine. We can take that out. So, because this piece can go back, we actually have full access to the head. It can go left, it can go right, it can look up, it can look down. Fantastic. The arms can go all the way around. They can go way out to the side, no problem. We have a nice bicep rotation. We have at least 90 degrees at the elbow. We have a wrist swivel. You know, you have a waist. Let me get the arm down here. You have a nice waist joint. Like, the guy has a waist. Granted, his like hip sections here, his hip skirt sometimes likes to kind of pop a little bit, but that's a minor gripe. The legs, they can go well back, they can go well forward, they can go full splits, ratcheted, by the way, for the full splits. We have a thigh rotation. We have a knee to, again, at least 90 degrees. We have a little bit of ankle tilt, a little bit, and it helps them a little bit. The toes, they can move. The heels, they can move. The Combiner Wars version has a 7. This guy is a 10. I don't think there's anything more you could ask from him. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. So far this guy is a 10 and a 10. What about his transformation? Well, like I said, in the truck mode, you have those two little sections that don't quite tab on. We have the hip skirt piece here that does like to pop off. It's not too hard, it's not bad. Might not be perfect, but it's not bad. Now, we are going to go torso mode. Thankfully, this time we don't have to go back to vehicle mode, because we can really kind of do torso mode from here. And again, we're going to compare the two torsos. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, we leave this back, thankfully. We flip this out, we flip the head down, we close that back up. Then, for the arms here, because we might as well, I guess, do those next, you know, why not? The arms will actually stay in, like as if we were still in vehicle mode. Look, that hip piece came off again. You really need to have a little bit of floor polish on that hip skirt, I do believe. We open the hip skirt out, speaking of which. We might as well do that now, because we will have to. Now, like I said, we have the arms in. Oh, and we have to put the hands back in. I can get this over there. Hand in, and on the other side, hand in. Now that we have the hands in and the arms back in like they would be for vehicle mode, you take the two tires and you push them down. You, again, leave these folded up around the side of the arm, and fold the arm back, and fold the arm back. They do kind of hold back there. There's like some guiding sections. I don't find that they particularly lock, but I also don't feel like they need to particularly lock. They stay there just fine. I just removed the chest piece of Devastator off there, just to be fair when we compare both torso modes, because the chest piece doesn't stay there in combined mode. But there's the very upper body done. Now, in terms of the lower body, you close that up, and does it flip it up like that? Just trying to remember now exactly how. No, it's not. We will, for now, open out the legs. we'll open those up for now. We will close that back up, and we will put the foot down over and make sure that that combiner peg is out. Right. We're going to take the hip skirt and we're going to pick it off. We're going to fold this leg back up as well. Make sure that we have the combiner port out. And again, we're going to take the foot and bring it down right there. We're going to take these back tires and again fold them in. Now they're folding in over the thighs, and we're still going to rotate this around. It's just now instead of having the legs unfolded, they're folded up. We're going to rotate the entire lower body around. And then we have two green sections up here. They're black on the front. These sections are hip sections, and we're going to split them and lower them. Down and down. And now these two hip sections are just free flowing. We need to solidify them. So how do we do that? Well, first we're going to do it with the hip skirt on the front. On the front we have a couple of little slots down bottom and a couple of tabs on the skirt piece. They will tab in on the front. And that does certainly help to solidify them, but it's not going to work well enough when we have this guy actually in combined mode. So how do we deal with that? Well, remember that blaster I told you about? Well, we're about to get in kind of close so I can explain to you exactly what we need to do with that. It's not often I do this sort of an extreme close-up on figures, but we have a slot here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember when I put the handle in the blaster? Well, that gave us the 4 slots we need to go here. And then down and underneath, you need to kind of push the edges of the blaster down. I'll show you the blaster in a minute so you can see exactly how that's supposed to be. And there's a molded out section, still in the green, just past a lip, and that's what you have to kind of wrap the blaster down around. Let me show you the orientation that the blaster should be in. Now I struggled a little bit with this, but this is basically, well actually I guess like this is the orientation the blaster should be in, but if I let that go, it's going to fall. It's not the greatest tension there. All we have is a little friction hinge right here, and that's supposed to solidify the body, and oddly it does a decent job of it. Now right here you will notice we have 1, 2, and on this side we have 1, 2. This is what goes in the back, this wraps down around the bottom, and it's these 2 sections here that fold down under that green, but it's like it's not quite able to fit exactly right. Now then, rather than show me struggle to fit this in, and it's always a struggle because you put these 4 in and you really have to kind of hold that with your finger and then wrap this down around, but you need to get it just to past these 2 little lips, and it's not easy. Like, it's such a tight fit, but it does help secure things after the fact, and he still has a nice waist. So you don't have to put it there, but I would highly recommend it for solidity of the torso. Speaking of torsos, here we have 2. And yeah, you notice that that size difference that I pointed out in the beginning still holds true. This is a significantly smaller long haul. It's interesting because in robot mode, they're both basically the height of a Voyager, but the mass of the Combiner Wars one is so much more. And the truth is, the Combiner Wars one, I think, was more designed to be a lower torso for Devastator than it was to be a robot. I think that this guy, the NBK knockoff, and even the Generation Toy one for that matter, was designed to be a robot first. And I think that's a significant difference to keep in mind. Anyway, as far as a torso goes, like as far as a figure of long haul goes, undoubtedly the NBK wins. Undoubtedly. But how do the torsos match up? Well, just like with the limbs, we'll discuss more about the torsos and give the combined form its own grades later on. But you know, the transformation for the NBK, I would say it's a solid 8.5. Overall, the NBK is a solid, I'd say 9.5 for a figure. It's a great figure. It really is. It's fun. It's interesting. It's involved but not too complicated. So, as our race goes now, we actually have a score of 3 out of 5 of the NBK figures are better than the Combiner Wars figures. NBK pulling out in the lead. And here we are once again, and this is a, like I said, significantly better version of Long Haul. The proportions are better, the sculpting is obviously Long Haul, a fantastic head sculpt. Maybe the lower arms could have been black instead of purple, arguably. And I don't know, maybe they are on the actual Generation Toy one, I don't know. But like, he moves nicely, everything works really well here in robot mode. It works really well in truck mode. Then we get the torso mode, and I really don't like having to kind of use his blaster to solidify the torso. I don't like that the hip skirt likes to pop off. And I'm not sure if it might be a little bit too small. I guess we'll find out when we finally get around to putting these guys together. But as a representation of Long Haul, he's fun. He's functional, he looks great, he works great. Anyway, let me know what you think about this guy. Do you like him or not? As always, again, I appreciate you giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I'm going to say, please hit that subscribe button and help me out. Believe me, it helps me a lot. And I very much look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit right here inside the videos.